Welcome to Area DMG.
Hey everybody, it's your boy, Philip Wesley, the Mile High Mouth, and I'm here for Area DMG, and we are going to review, or rather talk about, a graphic novel. Yeah, we're going to talk about a graphic novel called I Killed Giants by Joe Kelly and J.M. Kin Nimura. Why am I talking about this? Well, it's a graphic novel. You can pick it up at your local bookstores like Tattered Cover, Second and Charles if you want to. That's a Books A Million, I think. Barnes and Noble if you must. But yeah, it's a comic book out there, and I'm doing this in a different style because you know what I'm talking about. It's your boy! No, I'm not that. I'm not diversity in comics, so don't worry about it. Anyways, I Kill Giants. It says soon to be a major motion picture, but that's already out. Has Zoe Saldana, Madison Wolfe, Imogen Poots, and it's from Chris Columbus, one of the producers of Harry Potter. I don't think he directed it. No, it's directed by, I think, Andy Walter, and it's fantastic. This is on Hulu right now. I actually recommend you go out and you watch it. It's pretty good. I liked it. I was interested in the comic, and then I went and got the movie, and then I got the comic, and I found out, because like the movie had like a little bit of the comic in it that you could read, and it occurs to me that this is one of those things where, well, the movie turned out great. Don't go into it expecting it to be a big action fest, though. The trailer is kind of a little misleading, similar to a trailer for like Colossal or Better Watch Out or some of those things where you're like, oh, huh. There's some trailers you see everything in it. Like, I felt like I wish I hadn't seen the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom trailer. I would rather have seen just the movie instead of the trailer at all. Trailer, I was going to go see it anyways, but I feel trailers can be horrible and misleading. Trailer for I Kill Giants is especially bad. Don't watch the trailer. Go watch the movie. It's on Hulu. It's available streaming. It's available on Blu-ray for like $14.99. Don't even bother with DVD if you don't have a DVD player. If you have a Blu-ray player, just go for Blu-ray. If you still have a DVD player, it's also available on DVD, but you know, you should probably upgrade. I mean, a lot of stuff plays Blu-ray nowadays. Blu-ray players are cheap. Anyways, let's put that back for a moment. Let's talk a little bit about I Kill Giants. Just look at this has some really dynamic art. Let me find... Oh, let's see. Let me find something that's pretty good. I mean, yeah, the artwork in here is pretty good. It involves this young lady named Barbara, and she kills giants. That's what she does. She uses this hammer that's named Kovaleski after a Phillies pitcher, and it's fantastic. Love that. That's pretty good. It's printed by Image. It's the people that put this out. Sometimes they put out good stuff, but this particular comic book, I'm going to read through this forward a little bit, right? I'm going to read through the forward in here because if I read through the forward, you'll kind of get why I think you should check out the novel, the graphic novel. It's good, but you should also check out the movie because it's something that you don't hear much from people in the comic book industry or even nowadays in the movie industry. I mean, now some people, they'll make a comic book movie, and they don't get it. They don't get what makes the original thing great. They don't understand the material. And that really, really sucks. You have these people who are like, hey, let's go make a movie. They have their own agenda for it, and they don't seem to like it. You'll hear, like, for example, okay, one thing that really bugs me, I know people have been like, that whole Thundercats Go thing that people have been talking about, you know, I looked at that stuff, I was like, whatever, maybe I'll watch an episode and see if it's any good. I mean, it couldn't be worse than that Powerpuff Girls reboot, which had no respect for the original source material, could it? And then you find out that the person who's making it didn't even like the original show. His brothers watched it, and he was like, I guess this would be good if I made it my way. which that's not what you want from someone creating something. No, I'm going to read what Christopher Columbus, the filmmaker, San Francisco, the guy that funded the thing, which by the way has Zoe Saldana and she's good at it, but Madison Wolfe, the lady who, the girl that plays Barbara in this, fantastic, amazing. Anyways, gotta listen to this story. I'm gonna read a little bit of the foreword to explain why you should read this book because it's awesome. I mean, artwork wise, it is there. Let me see if I can find something. I just don't want to spoil things. I'm gonna not spoil things. I'm trying to find like something cool looking to show off. It's kind of in focus. Like the whole thing is in black and white. There's some pretty cool. Oh! Look at that! Look at that! That is pretty boss right there. Chapter 6, the Titan. Yeah, the artwork from J.M. Ken Nimura and Joe Kelly. By the way, Joe Kelly's the writer for this. If you know who he is, then you know Deadpool, right? Do you like Deadpool? Joe Kelly's the guy who made you like Deadpool. Okay. Well, he kind of introduced like the fourth wall thing, and then other people just kind of ran with it, and it worked. He's kind of like, he is to Deadpool kind of what Chris McFarlane is to Todd McFarlane is to Venom. Okay, like the Todd McFarlane Venom stuff, that stuff, like the early Venom stuff where you got like the awesome teeth, and then later on it went weird crazy with the tongue, and that's not really Venom. Venom is all about horrible creepy smile, because like Spider-Man's your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Venom is smiling, but he sure as heck isn't friendly. That's the whole point. He's all like, I'm gonna eat Spider-Man's brains, that type of stuff. He's all revenge and things, and I feel that's kind of lost in the whole lethal protector thing, It's okay. Not everyone has to be an anti-hero. It's okay to have bad characters who do bad things. I mean, Miss Marvel's been doing bad things for years. Rory Williams, same thing. Nobody locks them up. They should, though. I mean, the whole Ironheart thing. God, I feel like Miss Marvel's going to be the end of the MCU. And they'll be like, why did this happen? What do people... It must be that gamer-gated diversity in comics. Oh, let's get out of the controversy for a bit. Let's get back to Joe Kelly. Awesome dude. But let's get back to... Christopher Columbus nails it down. Yeah. There you go. To those fighting their own giants, you're stronger than you think. Yeah, I mean, the artwork is just lovely in this. It is fantastic. It does have some things in it. I mean, nothing really bad, but nothing really bad. Like some of the young adult novels that are out there nowadays, like Smile or let's see, there's a bunch of different ones. Like, well, yeah, like you see those little like the Babysitters Club little comic book things that are intended for like a female audience, and there's stuff like Bone is still pretty popular, which, man, they need to make an animated version of that at some point. They have to, right? It can't live without it, right? Right? Come on. I don't know. Young adults are so spoiled these days with such great comics. Back in the day... Oh, anyways, let me go back to what it says here. Anyways, this is from Chris Columbus, and it's kind of sums up why you should buy this book and why you should watch the movie. Because he produced that movie, and this is what an actual fan sounds like, okay? This is not about inclusion. It's not about, well, how many people of blah, 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 how many people with no personality and no writing can we put into our book? Maybe we could get somebody who used to be famous, and they could be like, well, this is going to get me blocked on Twitter by so many people I don't care about. Oh my gosh. And a side note, at one point, the guy that writes Gold Digger, I saw him at Acon one year, and I piped up about his kind of bad animated special, which they did a slightly reanimated version up later because the animation's bad. I thought the story was fine. Voice acting was fine, music was fine, but the animation was terrible, and I made him cry by criticizing the animation. I said everything else was good, dude. You have to be able to take critique. And it's like kind of like they're very thin-skinned at Antarctica Press. Anyways, let's get back to this. Okay. Chris Columbus, he goes, I walked into my local comic book store a few years back, a place called Comics Experience in San Francisco. I was browsing through the titles, grabbing the comics that looked interesting. There weren't many. The problem I have with a lot of titles these days is that you truly can't judge a book by its cover. Back in the Silver Age, am I that old? No, you're not. I remember this too. You could pop into a pharmacy. Yes, he is that old, but I still remember when they sold them in there. Pick up a handful of comics and discover an array of stunning, visceral, almost bloody sometimes, covers drawn by the likes of Jack Kirby, Jim Steranko, Neil Adams, John Romita. John Romita is awesome, and he died recently, didn't he? It made me sad. John Romita. And when you open the pages, you could almost guarantee that there would be 20 pages of countless panels, each filled with hand-drawn, mind-exploding piece of art, drawn by the same hand that inspired you to pick up the book in the first place. These days, when I reach for the comic, about 40% of the time, I discover the interior artist is completely different than the cover artist. Huge buzzkill. And the interior artwork ultimately feels generic and soulless, CalArts, as if the characters were drawn by a machine, CalArts. But all that changed when I picked up I Killed Giants. I cracked it open, and not only did the art deliver on the promise of the book's cover, the writing was wonderful. Whip-smart, funny, and complex. When I finished the book, I felt the same way I did after watching E.T. in the theater for the first time. It was a profoundly moving experience. So real and honest, but with a dark, magical heart. Come on, this is the guy who brought you 2 of the only 3 good Harry Potter movies. The third one being Prisoner of Azkaban. Everything after that is garbage. Because J.K. Rowling's ran out of ideas by the 3rd year. Like the end of the 3rd year, it was just like, I don't know, stuff. And it's true, you know, you look at that stuff, she's like, I don't know, stuff. And she's still trying to convince people that she's a good writer. Anyways, Joe Kelly has written a deeply insightful story about a child using fantasy to navigate through a harsh reality. Barbara's character is a rarity amongst graphic novels and comics. She is a damaged, not particularly likable person who is also a tangible, three-dimensional human being. At the end of her journey, by the time I got to the final pages, tears were streaming down my face. It made Chris Columbus cry, you know? Yeah. Not the result of cheap sentimental manipulation. No, this story earned my tears. It was raw and brutally honest. J.M. Kindemer's illustrations were unlike anything I'd ever seen in a graphic novel. To say they are outside of the box doesn't even cover it. They're outside of the effing planet. It says effing planet in there. That he's right. No. Joe's writing, they're visually arresting, tough, and at times whimsical. Ken's visuals perfectly complement Joe's writing. His drawings transport us to a world we've never seen before, a unique, fantastical vision, which, by the way, the live-action version of this is really, really kind of close to the book. Like, dialogue and scenes just lifted straight whole cloth, and just, it works. The acting is fantastic. The little girl that they got to play Barbara is fantastic in this. The only thing about this book, though, and the fact that the main character's name is Barbara, always makes me think of Night of the Living Dead. They're coming to get you, Barbara! And then they do. Man, Night of the Living Dead is really good. Just had a really sour ending to it, but it kind of perfectly encapsulates every good zombie trope after that. It just broke the genre and made it good. Anyways, after you've read this glorious book, you'll most certainly want to find a special place for it on your bookshelf, right next to Persepolis, which is another fantastic one that you should read. It's kind of like I recommend people go check out Ghost World. Check out Strangers in Paradise. There's a bunch of those. It's a good book. This is a good book. It's a good graphic novel. It's a great graphic novel. You should read it. There's so many, the graphic novels these days are kind of lacking. I mean, when was the last time we truly had a Watchmen or a The Killing Joke? Like, well, some of those are compilations of comics, but still, graphic novel wise, ay ay ay, there's such good. There's some really good ones out there too, and you should really look into graphic novels. If you are a fan, I love books, but I also love graphic novels. Anyways, yeah, you find a special place on your bookshelf, but I suggest you do something a bit more generous. Pass it along to a family member or friend or a niece or nephew. It needs to be shared. He doesn't say niece or nephew, I added that. It needs to be discussed. It needs to be experienced by everyone. Do I sound obsessed? Yeah, of course I am. I love this book. How often do you get to experience the work of great talents like Joe Kelly and J.M. Ken Nimura? These men truly walk the footsteps of Will Eisner and Stan Lee and Roy Thomas and Steve Ditko. If I were doing this, I would add Carl Barks, because I believe Carl Barks is fantastic. People, yeah. And the many people, giants who came before them. Thank you, Joe and Ken, for giving me the opportunity to walk in the footsteps of Barbara. I felt her fears, her anger, her frustration, her final victory. It was one hell of a journey. And that's what he wrote about that. And then he went and he paid for the movie to be made. So I'm going to talk about these a little bit. There are some reviews of this that completely miss the point. I suggest you go into it knowing what it is. Okay, now I Kill Giants it's emotional. It has some action to it, but man, there were some critics that I wanted to punch that I read about, like, who were like, it's like Bridge to Terabithia meets Heavenly Creatures. I'm like, did you watch either of those films? Did you read those books? Did you know the story about those? I mean, why on earth would you compare this to Heavenly Creatures? Oh, no. No. By the way, Peter Jackson's Heavenly Creatures is pretty good. But it's based off of a double, like a murder. Gah. But Bridge to Terabithia, or that might be a little bit too spoilery there. But no, I Kill Giants is I think it's something you just need to go watch. You just need to. You need to go watch this. It's on Hulu. Just take my word for it. Just go watch it. It's not an action movie in the way that you would think. It's a drama-ish, movie-ish. And the artwork is fantastic. There are some sequences that were changed a little bit from the graphic novel to the movie, and it's fine. Like, there's a part in the graphic novel where the main character refers to a teacher with a slur that is changed in here. Same kind of instance happens, same result, dialogue's a little different. Then there are places where dialogue that's earlier on in the book is a little later on here. There's some new sequences here. Just, it's totally worth it. Now, if this were one of those types of reviews and this were a bad comic, well, no, let me talk about the composition of this comic. Okay? Yeah, I know. You're like, what? No, you've become diversity in comics. Yeah, kind of have. It's fine. But no, look at the way these are. Look at the way the dialogue is presented. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of dialogue and some stuff, but it's presented in a way that works. It's not over expository. It's still interesting to look at. It has a consistent art style, and even though there's no color to it, you are drawn into it because look at this. Look at how many word bubbles are in here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. A sound effect. Art. Everything else art. Nowadays, you'd have like a Bendis type comic and be like, word balloon. Art. Word balloon. Cheeky garbage. But no, this right here. Look at the action lines in this. Look at how dynamic this. Look at this house. That house like the house in the movie kind of looks a little bit like it. It works. It works. You're given, oh look, fantastical creatures and stuff. Look at, like, the artwork is simplistic when it needs to be. They're using simplicity when they need it or when they want it. And then there's complexity when they need it and when they want it for the service of the story. The art serves to help visualize the story. It's cleverly paneled. You know your progression of when you're reading it. You know your progression from, like, there's that panel, like that panel right there. You go this, 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 this. There's no messed up proportions. You know what people are talking. Everything is simplistic. A lot of dark, a lot of inking, but it's done in a way that it's not lifeless. In fact, like, look at this stuff. It's very, very, very vivid. It works out. Like I said, I'm back at this panel over here. I'm not going to go further. Oh, there's a bunch of supplementary stuff at the end here, but I'm not really going to go for that because I don't want to give away things about this book or this movie. I just think that you should probably go check it out. Yeah. And have you checked this out? Have you seen the movie yet? Hit that like button, that share button, that subscribe button if you have. And ring that little bell so you're notified whenever we have a brand new episode here on Area DMG. Until next video comes out, you are now caught up.